By doing what my dad raised me to do since I was like 5 years old. You know, I seen it. I seen what he was able to do, and I have a lot of great resources and mentors, you know, to keep me on the right track. And especially coming to this building, we have great coaches in the building, able to, you know, keep me focused, keep me in the straight and narrow line. Like, my job here isn't to prove people wrong. Like, I prove myself right.
Shedeur Sanders has become one of the most watched young quarterbacks in the NFL for one simple reason. Every time the Browns' offense looks messy, people immediately start asking whether he is seeing the same thing everyone else is seeing. Cleveland's quarterback room is still an open competition under first-year head coach Todd Monken, with Monken saying the Browns will use reps to evaluate Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson, while also making it clear that those reps will not be split evenly and can change day to day. In other words, nobody in this building has been handed the job, and nobody has been told to stop competing. That is exactly why every Shedeur reaction, every coach quote, and every bad offensive possession keeps turning into a bigger story. What makes Sanders so compelling in this situation is that he does not talk like a quarterback trying to play nice for the cameras. From the moment the Browns drafted him, he has kept repeating the same basic idea. He is grateful for the opportunity, he wants to work, and he plans to prove things on the field. In his post-draft Browns transcript, he said he stays leveled through adversity, that he is not focused on negativity, and that he is there to prove it with actions, not just words. Later, after winning his first NFL start, he said failure ain't going to happen, which tells you everything you need to know about how he sees this battle. He is not walking around like a guy begging for validation. He is walking around like a guy waiting for his chance to say, "Watch me." According to Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com, Deshaun Watson emerged as the leader for the Cleveland Browns starting QB1 position ahead of rookie Shedeur Sanders. Cabot reports that based on performance and observations, Watson has the inside track as of early May 2026.
You pick between Deshaun and Shedeur, there's no contest for me. It's Shedeur every time, because do I think it's a wide path with Shedeur? No. But I think there is a path. I don't see any path with Deshaun. What's the path?
I mean, for me with Deshaun, I was a guy that when the Browns made the trade, I wanted the Browns to make the trade.
Yeah.
I was all on board at the time. He was a top 5 quarterback playing on a bottom 5 team. And so the Browns might have thought they were top 5 or 6 team at the time. And if they add Deshaun Watson, it can take them over the hill. Well, a lot has taken place since that happened. I do trust the fact that Deshaun Watson is ready to compete. I do trust the fact that he's going to do everything in his power.
That is why the play calling conversation got so loud. After Sanders' first start against the 49ers, he was asked about the aggressiveness of some critical fourth down decisions, and he immediately pushed back on the tone of the question. Fox Sports reported that he called it a rude question to ask whether he thought it was a great call by his coach, and then he made it clear he was not going to point fingers at Kevin Stefanski or any coach. He said he likes being out there playing, and that whatever comes with it, comes with it. That answer went viral because it sounded respectful on the surface, but underneath it, the message was obvious. Sanders noticed the offense, he noticed the choices, and he is not pretending bad football is good football. That is the real tension in the headline. Sanders did not openly attack the play calling, but the way he handled the question made it clear that he understands when an offense is not winning at a high enough level. The Browns lost that game to San Francisco 26-8, and the article specifically noted 2 failed 4th and 1 calls, a lost fumble on a direct snap to tight end Harold Fannin Jr., and a general lack of offensive momentum. Sanders himself had a solid stat line, finishing 16 of 26 for 146 yards and a touchdown, which means the problem wasn't just him. The issue was the whole structure around him, and that's why people read the moment as him exposing the play calling without having to say the words outright. Monken's comments around the quarterback battle make this even more interesting because he has been very open about the fact that the Browns are still evaluating everybody. He said the team wants a fair and open competition, but also admitted that he doesn't think reps should be divided evenly just for the sake of appearances. He wants to allocate reps to the players who give the Browns the best chance to win. That line matters because it puts the entire quarterback discussion in football terms, not political terms. It's not supposed to be about who has the biggest name or who who has the loudest fan base. It's supposed to be about who gives the Browns a real shot at winning. And that's where the Watson conversation keeps creeping back in. Monken has said he's excited about Shedeur, Watson, and Gabriel, but he also said the Browns do not yet have enough on film over the last couple of years to declare a finished answer at quarterback. SI reported that Watson was said to have the inside track at one point, but Monken later stressed that the race remains open and that even someone getting more reps doesn't mean the competition is over. That's why Cleveland feels so unstable right now. The team is trying to be patient, but the fan base is looking at the same mess and asking whether patience is just another word for delay.
I feel like either way, after this year, Deshaun gone. If it's two guys even at any position, the guy who makes the money, that we going with that guy.
That's my thing with it.
It's simple as that.
That's my thought
And
process.
I understand it's a pecking order, and I understand Cleveland, they a lot of up a lot of times.
Yeah.
And they probably gonna this situation up because of the pecking order.
It's hard to have a guy making $46 million being your backup.
Sanders also has enough on-field proof to keep the story alive. During his rookie season, he started the final 7 games for Cleveland and finished with 1,400 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Those numbers don't scream finished product, but they do show a quarterback who had real flashes while still dealing with the growing pains that come with being a first-year player. Monken himself said Sanders has elite playmaking ability, which is a huge clue in this whole debate. If the coach believes the talent is real, then the only thing left is whether the Browns can actually build an offense that uses that talent the right way. That is why the phrase, "this isn't winning football," fits the mood around the Browns, even if Sanders himself didn't say it in exactly those words. The real complaint is not just that the Browns are losing, it's that too many of their offensive decisions look like they're making the game harder than it needs to be. Monken, in his first offseason message to the team, said the Browns are in both the development business and the winning business, which is the cleanest way to describe the pressure in this building. Development is great, but development without visible progress starts to feel like excuses, and in a city like Cleveland, excuses run out fast.
What Sanders exposes, in a bigger sense, is the gap between potential and execution. The Browns keep talking about competition, growth, and reps, but the league does not judge that talk until the ball is snapped in a real game. Monken has also said that he is not the one who decides who plays, because the players decide that by how they perform. That is an important line, because it means the Browns can keep saying the room is open, but the room only stays open if somebody actually forces the staff's hand. Sanders is trying to become that guy. The play calling discussion then is really a larger argument about whether the Browns are making the offense easier for their best players or just asking everyone to survive bad structure. If you look closely, Sanders' whole approach suggests he is aware of that. He has repeatedly said he wants to prove himself, not just talk about himself, and that he does not want to step on anyone's toes while still making his own presence felt. That is a delicate balance, especially for a rookie in a quarterback room with veterans and another young passer fighting for the same future. But it also explains why fans latch on to his reactions. When he bristles at a question about play calling, people do not hear a complaint. They hear a quarterback who knows the standard was too low on that day and who is tired of pretending otherwise.
Bro,
I'm a Shedeur fan, but I'm also a realist. When healthy, we know where Deshaun Watson is.
no, we don't.
We've seen it.
We ain't seen it in 5 years.
But we've seen. No, I understand, but we've seen it. We haven't seen it here, but we've seen
Yes,
it, right?
I'm opposite of that because I feel like with Deshaun Watson, if it's even with who he is and his, being a veteran, if it's even, I'm going with the guy that's a bigger question mark because I want to see what he does with more weapons around him.
But then, what do you do with Deshaun? Do you cut him?
You ain't gonna cut him. You let him be a
Like
backup.
this, so he's making 46 and back up, right?
Hell yeah. Deshaun on his last year of his deal, right? Even if he ball, would you gonna extend him and let him stay here some more? I feel like either way, after this year, Deshaun gone.
That makes the Browns' next steps even more important. Monken has said the competition will be fair, that the reps will be used to determine who gives the team the best chance to win, and that a starter might ideally be identified by training camp, even though that decision has not been made yet. So the story is not finished, and that is what keeps it alive. If Sanders keeps producing the kind of steady, confident responses that he has already shown, the pressure to get him more meaningful opportunities will only grow. If the offense keeps looking clunky, predictable, or overly cautious, then every open competition statement will sound more and more like a holding pattern. This is why the viral conversation around Sanders feels bigger than one quote. It's about a rookie who is not afraid to notice when the football is bad, a coach trying to manage a full quarterback evaluation, and a franchise desperate to look like it finally has a clear direction. Sanders did not go on a rant. He did not burn anybody publicly, but in the way he answered, he made one thing very clear. He is here to play real football, and he knows when the offense is not good enough to win. That is why the clip hits so hard. It sounds like a rookie talking respectfully, but it lands like somebody exposing the truth anyway. Cabot noted Watson had a strong, solid performance on the first day of minicamp, setting a competitive tone for the competition. The battle for the starting quarterback is primarily against rookie Shedeur Sanders. This assessment follows early off-season workouts, with reports indicating Watson is operating efficiently, although it is still early in the process.
To become the Browns' starting quarterback, I have lost faith in the overall mission, though, when it comes to Deshaun Watson. Can he stay healthy? Can he still perform at that high level? And those are things that I'm not as confident saying about Deshaun today as I was a couple of years ago. I think if anything, if it's close or if it's equal.
And that is the bigger Browns problem. If Shedeur Sanders keeps looking like the player who sees the game most clearly, then every questionable decision around him gets magnified. The staff can call it development. Fans can call it bad play calling. Sanders can call it football. But at some point, the results are going to decide who was right. Right now, the only thing that's certain is that Cleveland still does not have a settled quarterback answer. Monken is still evaluating, and Sanders is still putting himself in the middle of the discussion every time the Browns look like they are fighting their own offense as much as the opponent. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below.